When you know your language, I feel like you're a lot stronger in your identity as a Native person. There's a lot of traditional knowledge that's bound up within our language.
Knowing the history of heritage languages that were taken away, I feel fortunate that we have, thanks to the Alaska Native Language Center and the people before me, that safe place to store these heritage languages. But nothing should be stored in boxes. Nothing should be stored in shelves, especially if it contains who we are. Waki Charles, a director of Alaska Native Language Center by way of Iñupiaq. I grew up speaking Yupik, but speaking Yupik from two dialects, my mother's and my father's. My mother was a monolingual who spoke only that one specific language, and that was it. There was a point at which I pretended not to speak Yupik. Age 12, I was taken away to boarding school with these outsiders as our teachers. Kids were scolded by their teachers to not speak our heritage language. There was some abuse, and there was some element of shame and guilt for knowing the language or even speaking the language. But languages don't die. They fall asleep. And it's up to every single one of us to wake it back up.
Iñupiaq, Alaska, an Eskimo village located on the banks of the Kuskokwim River. For years, from the moment the children started school as first graders, the language of the school has been English exclusively. Now, a special program is underway at Iñupiaq and some neighboring villages, where the children are learning English as a second language.
The center was founded because bilingual education was beginning in the rest of the country. Alaska Native languages fit within that rubric as well. The best way to handle it for them and for everybody was to teach them in their first language.
One of the biggest pieces to the puzzle was obtaining materials written in the Eskimo language of the region. Linguists at the University of Alaska have been working on the problem for several years.
School books for native language programs were very important publications.
They were busy translating stories into the Eskimo language, illustrating them, and writing new stories. In some cases, the stories were traditional ones, being written down for the first time.
So the Alaska Native Language Center has been in existence since the 1970s, and it was formed by the state legislature through the university to really serve as a center that could lead in the documentation of Alaska Native languages and some of the research that was happening at the time.
There was a recognition that we needed to capture as much as we could.
Initially, there were recordings done for every possible language.
One important highlight was teaching native languages at the university. This was the first university in the country to have bachelor's degrees in an indigenous language.
42 years ago, I came to the University of Alaska Fairbanks as a freshman. And that was my first formal exposure to the written form of my heritage language. I felt how safe it was for me to speak the language, use the language, learn the language, analyze the language to where I wouldn't stop. And so that became my passion to learn anything and everything about my heritage language that was almost taken away from me.
The language programs have evolved, and now there are 3 native languages taught: Yupik, Iñupiaq, and Gwich'in Athabaskan, and all of these are taught by native teachers.
To have someone who grew up within that culture, someone who is a part of that culture, someone who's is strongly embedded with that, to be teaching it, you get this perspective that you wouldn't have been able to otherwise.
I decided to enroll in the Yupik class, starting off like with Yupik 101, and our instructor was Waki Charles, and it really was kind of a transforming experience for me, because going inside that class, it was kind of like a window into our culture and identity, like a mirror back to a different time, you know.
Every time I sat in his class, there was like, wow, so this is what we're going to learn today. If you want to learn as a beginner, it's there for you. All you have to do is sign up for it.
I have this opportunity to see and witness these young souls who are hungry for their languages. Alaska Native Language Center is the big umbrella of that encompasses Alaska Native Language Program.
The teaching side of teaching our languages in the classroom.
It has academic programming, so certificate, associates, bachelor's degrees. And then it also has additional services to the public. We manage a bookstore with our own in-house editor, which has a huge global impact.
We are able to actually publish texts that have research around our languages or dictionaries.
We've routinely have orders for 40 books at a time, 20 books at a time. We supply that knowledge and try to get it everywhere.
The Alaska Native Language Center also has the Alaska Native Language Archives.
I was searching through the archives, just looking, seeing what's there, because there's just so much there. And I ended up finding stuff with my grandfather's name on it. Some postcards, some like newsletter type stuff. It was really neat to read things like that and to read in my grandfather's words, just things about his family, what he's doing.
We're also looking to expand our archives.
In these walls of the archives, the stories of your grandfathers or your great-grandfathers and your great-grandmothers. This is our, and I mean the whole state's, archives.
It's my hope that regardless of your background, you learn to speak one of the Indigenous languages.
Last year, a decision was made by the Board of Regents that had a lot of support to bring the Alaska Native Language Center to the College of Rural and Community Development to create better alignment with some of the Indigenous programming that CRCD already offers.
It's really our role as stewards of this invaluable knowledge and resources that ANLC has to build up the program so that they can effectively be supporting revitalization and research efforts.
The ANLC is uniquely positioned to do that work and to build that community and to serve as this bridge between these outlying communities and the university system.
I'm excited about expanding into new language areas. I'm excited about deepening our bench of language teachers.
There's this kind of new movement to reclaim one's own native language and culture. And I think as time goes on, we'll see that movement grow and more people, look into their own culture and identity and learning it. And I think that'll really help towards preserving our language and cultures.
I see it more and more, especially in younger people. They're feeling proud in who they are. They're feeling proud in their languages, and they are eager to learn.
It'll be my first semester of teaching, and something I'm really looking forward to, because I've always wanted to be involved with passing down our native language and culture.
Our people are finally recognizing that the Alaska Native Language Center does belong to them. And it is my mission as the first Alaska Native director that I widen these doors so that people all over the state from every language have access to their heritage language and the stories of their ancestors. What kept me from losing my heritage language completely was my mother, who never spoke another language. As I was completing my dissertation for my PhD in linguistics, I wanted to dedicate all my work to my family. And I wrote it in the Iñupiaq language, in my mother's dialect. And when it was done, my heart was happy.
At the recent parent-teacher conference, it was gratifying to me to watch the expression on their faces as they listened to their children read in their own language. They were so proud.
You know, you're not alone when you have that language and you can go to somebody and hear it. It's like being brought home as a kid. You hear it, you feel this emotion of something that was positive and good, and you remember those elders, and you remember those good times, and it grounds you, but it also reinforces what your responsibilities are. And when you have responsibilities, you don't want to let other people down. All of that is within our language.
The Alaska Native Language Center celebrates 50 years this year. So I want to thank you, everyone who's had a part in the Alaska Native Languages Center over the last 50 years, and those of you who are playing a role in the next 50. Thank you for choosing UAF. Masicho.